This is western Iraq's no man's land. Historic terror hiding grounds, hard-to-control terrain, far-flung areas without a permanent security presence. It is in these lands that once night falls, ISIS gangs attack, kill, and plunder with impunity. We're heading to the site of a recent horrific ISIS assault. Within minutes of veering off the main road and onto a dirt track, we arrive at what is little more than a cluster of mud homes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Death has never come to 72-year-old Yusuf Hawas's village this way.
والله شعوري مصيبة من رب العالمين.
هي الدمالثهم. There's still bloodstains on the ground.
Yusuf's older brother and 5 other relatives were murdered in the dead of night just days ago.
She's been cleaning up, or trying to at least.
Fatima is one of the victims' relatives.
This is how they found one of the bodies of the women, and what we're being told is that she was taken to here, the shower area, and this is where they just executed her.
Despite having been declared defeated, ISIS has not died. It is lurking in the shadows, waiting for the groundwork that will allow it to rise again. Iraq's security forces have rounded up tens of thousands of accused ISIS members. In Baghdad, we meet these 4 men who have already been sentenced to death. They admit they were a part of the terrorist network. 2 were fighters, 1 a nurse, and 1 transported suicide bombers. Like all captured fighters we have spoken to over the years, they too say joining ISIS was a mistake. But this is how one of them justifies it.
كنا احنا متهددين من طرف القوات الأمنية. المنطقة اللي احنا ساكنين بها مداهمات عليها هواية وبها أذية اعتقالات عشوائية. عندما اجى التنظيم سيطر على المناطق صار عندنا أمان بالمنطقة اللي احنا عايشين بها.
That sentiment of being abused by the Shia-led government, of a desire for revenge, was and will continue to be central to ISIS's ability to seduce people into its ranks. When we ask if they still believe in its ideology, the question is ominously met with silence, the men unwilling to immediately condemn the twisted thinking that gave them, as seen in these photographs, such intoxicating power, a purpose, a sense of control over their lives and the lives of others. In a nearby building is the courthouse, where those on this day awaiting trial don't want to appear on camera. But their cases are classic examples of the Sunni population's grievances.
There are 6 men here who are facing terrorism charges. Half of them say the charges against them are politically motivated, going back to 2011. The other half aren't even sure exactly what they're being accused of, but they all say that they were forced into confession under torture.
Human rights organizations have long criticized Iraq for its culture of rampant torture and flawed trials. But Judge Abdulsattar Bariktar says Iraq upholds international standards and abides by its own anti-terrorism laws.
فلما أنا أحكم شخص مثلا بالإعدام أو بالمؤبد هذا اقتصيت بالنسبة للضحية ولكن في نفس الوقت اعطيت ردع للمجتمع.
The issue is that also caught in the dragnet are those who are innocent, victims of Iraq's historic polarizing dynamics, pitting its Sunni and Shia populations against each other. It's a dynamic that is amplified at the sprawling refugee camps for those who fled the fighting, but are still unable to go back home, where those who were affiliated with, or just suspected of being affiliated with ISIS, are afraid of retribution. In one tent, we meet the parents of 3 men who were detained and then disappeared into Iraq's murky judicial system. Their mother Shams says she hasn't seen or heard from her sons since they were picked up 3 years ago.
جون السيارات المغرب دماس المغرب ولا راحوا بريا كلهم عسكريين.
As she talks, her anguish becomes overwhelming. She doesn't know where they are or if they are even alive. We meet one of her detained son's children. Their mother doesn't want to appear on camera.
The kids are having problems. They're being harassed by other children who know that their father isn't here, and they're telling them, oh, your dad's ISIS, your dad is ISIS.
Their mother tells them it's a lie, but it still tarnishes their young lives, condemns them to a life of isolation and rejection. Theirs is but one story, one example of what many in the Sunni population believe is part of a revenge campaign by the Shia-led government, another emotional paradigm ISIS can prey on. It's a sentiment that reverberates throughout these destitute camps, with their prison-like feel, dreams traced in dust, the sense of despair. Especially vulnerable are the children of those whose fathers, brothers, uncles, innocent or guilty, were disappeared, killed, or detained. District Director Salah Hassan says the government cannot afford to abandon the younger generations.
هذول يخوفون في المستقبل حتى الأطفال مالهم من تحكي له أمه إنه قتلوا والدك والحكومة والجيش قتلت والدك وكذا وكذا هذا يقتنع.
The hatred that festers within them instills yet another complex emotion that ISIS can easily manipulate. There is little that has been done to emotionally or physically rebuild the ruins left behind by Iraq's war on ISIS. And so far, the government has not dispelled the factors that allowed ISIS to emerge. The sense of abandonment, of being perpetually punished, arbitrarily targeted. Unless that changes, the next incarnation of terror seems destined to haunt this country once more. Arwa Damon, CNN, Mosul, Iraq.